Good morning, everybody. Sam here, United People's TV, and I'm saluting because it is deadline day. Today is the final day of all the transfer madness that has happened this summer, and it kind of really is madness this summer, let's be totally honest. I think this is going to be the busiest deadline day that we've ever had, and I look forward to the day where we can sit back, put our feet up, crack a can, and just watch other clubs have a bit of a panic on deadline day. We're not quite there yet. So we are going to run through absolutely everything to do with Lammens and Martinez. Which goalkeeper are we going to sign? Truth be told, we don't know yet. Going to give you the full update on that. We're going to speak about Jadon Sancho maybe going to Aston Villa. Love you, Villa. Make that happen. We'll speak about Antony's exit to Real Betis. I did an extra video that went out at 8 a.m. this morning. Up nice and early. We'll also speak about, look, is there any chance of a midfield signing on deadline day? It's something that we all want. I'll speak about that, but truth be told, I don't think so. That's my personal prediction there. Then, what else we got? I don't know. There's loads more to run through. It's going to be a busy day. I'll tell you the plan for today, right? You know, typically, we have our live show at 10 a.m. every morning, and then the lunchtime video. Today's going to be a bit different. My plan is to be live here today at 10 a.m. I'm also going to go live at 1 p.m. and then go live again at 6 p.m. And maybe we just see it through until the end of deadline day. It'll be a little bit different here on United People's TV. But with things moving so fluidly, it makes sense to do a little bit more live content today rather than pre-recorded. So, strap yourselves in. As always, get involved. Please fire in your comments. I'll try and answer as many of them as I possibly can throughout the show. And let's have a look who's here from the mods and the member gang. Let's have a look. Madhouse, you're not a big fan of the jacket? Get stuffed. I like it. What can possibly be wrong and offensive about a white overshirt jacket? I know people leave comments. That's just caught me off guard. Good morning to you, Alex. We've got Carl. We've got Josh. You're there as well. Stu, Cantona, how you doing, buddy? Caleb. We've got Samir. We've got Aston. We've got Daniel. Teresa, how you doing? We've got Loz. We've got John Neal. How you doing, mate? Neil Cochrane. We've got lots and lots and lots. Right. Are you going to wear a yellow tie? No, sod that. I'm not going to do anything like that. Is it an overshirt? Is a white? Is a bold statement? That's got to be one of the least bold things I've ever done. Anyway, right. I got to start by this. I'm saying this, unfortunately. Right. This is like Newcastle have had an absolute reminder of the level of club that they are. Right. They really, really have. But this is grim. Absolutely grim. We knew it was going to happen. It doesn't make it any easier. I mean, Liverpool have what? It's got to be near $500 million now, isn't it? Stu, mate, I know you keep asking, but the program is there. I've been extremely busy, all right? So just give me a while before I do that. I've got it down there. Thank you very much for sending it, mate. But please stop asking. Look, Isak to Liverpool, 130 mil. I mean, it's a ridiculous signing, right? It's a ridiculous signing. We knew it was going to happen. They've got Wirtz, who clearly isn't, but geez, that free kick yesterday. Arsenal. You just can't rely on Arsenal to do anything. You really, really can't. But Liverpool spending what, as I said, nearly $500 million this summer after you win the league. It was always going to be a difficult task for United to catch up that gap. But my God, they've had some summer. And then in a day where it's going to be a little bit of goalkeeper merry-go-round, we've got Donnarumma is going to City. We've got the here we go now. Because Edison is going to Fenerbahce. Galatasaray? I think it's Fenerbahce. And of course, we're kicking off today's show by speaking about our goalkeepers. You know what is quite funny about City, though? Because they lost yesterday to Brighton. You know, we're going to the Etihad above City in the league. And we're the club in absolute crisis. And honestly, you look at Brighton playing against City yesterday. Boy, like we talk about United being open. City are mad open this summer. United will get chances at the Etihad next, what, in 2 weeks' time? But anyway, let's speak about goalkeepers. That's going to be the big topic of today. We've needed a goalkeeper all summer long. We had a live show yesterday, an extra one, where I covered the story of Martinez and the bid for him and United going after Lammens. What I'm going to do here is give you a quick 2-minute overview of what happened yesterday and the latest that's been reported on it this morning. All right, and then I'll head down to the chat. So if you missed this happened yesterday. United agreed personal terms with Emi Martinez. It felt to me like it was United making a contingency plan if the deal for Lammens didn't go through, right? And then off the back of that, Villa then approached Lammens instead. I don't know, not instead. As a consequence of United going for Martinez? Probably. Then we heard this from Mike McGrath right at the end of the show yesterday, that United had actually made Lammens the priority. So we were like, well, who are you going for? And we had, I think we did the poll yesterday, and 57% of you, I believe it was 57%, said you would sign Emi Martinez. Now, I was actually in the 43% gang. I stand by my opinion there. Following on from that, this happened during the middle of the night. Emi Martinez has told Villa that he wants to join United. Clear message again, because he was left out of the Villa squad that got absolutely whooped by Crystal Palace last night. So he wants to join United and he's trying to force that transfer through. Then we've got the latest from Laurie Whitwell this morning on our move for Lammens. Now, look, we already know that we've agreed personal terms. That's not really ever been the issue. United have agreed personal terms with Royal Antwerp goalkeeper Sen Lammens, but there is not yet a club-to-club agreement on a transfer. The 23-year-old would have to travel to Manchester this morning if the deal has a realistic chance of completion ahead of this evening's transfer deadline. His preference is a move to Old Trafford, right? And that's David Ornstein coming in with the Mitchell Bomba. Come on, we waited all summer for this. Now, this is one that I'm going to have a big goddamn smile on my face about. I was going to speak about this later. We're having a conversation about goalkeepers here, right? Ornstein, come on. Anyway, it's going to be a fun day here today. I really hope so, because I want United to get a lot done. Now, where was I? That was going to be going later in the show. Well, let's bring this up now, because we are speaking about Chief Melt, King Bellend, this bloke. All right? Yeah, come on. We just got it. Here we go. Yes. Come on. Although, if this probably now means that I think we're signing Emi Martinez. I think. Right? Ornstein, Aston Villa are on the verge of an agreement to sign Jadon Sancho from Manchester United, a deal for the 25-year-old winger on a season-long loan, almost done between the clubs, and we've just got... one sec. Get in. Goodbye. Good riddance. Yes, come on, man. Right, what's David... Well, not David Ornstein. What's Fabrizio saying? It's why we do the live shows. Sometimes we get it mid-show. Jadon Sancho to Villa. Here we go. Deal in place on an initial loan from Manchester United. Green light from United. And a deal being sealed with formal steps to follow next. Oh, come on. Oh, man, we've been waiting for that, man. We've been waiting for that. Someone's saying it's a straight loan. I don't care. I do not care. He's a free agent in the summer. It has always been the case. I said this like 2 months ago. 2 months ago? I don't know whether it was 2 months ago, right? But a long time ago, I said it felt like Jadon Sancho had been pushing back on anything that would involve him leaving on a permanent deal, because he wants to be a free agent next summer so he can get the big bag and he can get the money in. But if he goes there, and the reason I said that about Emi Martinez was because I was going to mention this, right? Fabrizio, just a little bit ago, said that United are working on both a deal for Sendemons and Emi Martinez, and not Dibu, annoys me. But look, only one will join United, but the Martinez deal depends on Sancho being included in talks with Villa. So if that is correct from Fabrizio Romano, and Sancho is and was included in a deal that, well, not a deal, but conversations around Martinez, then it sounds like we are going to be signing Emi Martinez from Aston Villa, right? If this is indeed correct. But just in isolation, right, let me quickly update the whiteboard and then we can go to the whiteboard because this whiteboard is getting busy today. Sancho, goodbye. Sancho, loan to Villa. There is no more room on this whiteboard. I tell you that. Right, let's open this up. Oh, this is a big, big whiteboard. You can see all the different deals there, all the different exits, the money involved. Antony, we're going to be speaking about that as well. But that's now Garnacho gone to Chelsea. Could it have been more? Should it have been more? Yeah. I think it should have. But it wasn't. Sancho going to Villa. Do I care it's on loan? No. Do I think anybody was actually going to pay money for him? Well, Roma wanted to, but he pushed away from it. Any time, you know, I said this in the video this morning, right? Do you know how lucky Jadon Sancho is? I cannot believe, people get opportunities in life and stuff like that. But he does not deserve that. And I really mean that. He does not deserve a move to a... Well, Villa aren't in the Champions League, are they? Because, well, they lost to... Well, anyway, who cares about that? He doesn't deserve a move to a Premier League club. He's just very, very fortunate, man. Very, very fortunate. That's the way I see this whole Sancho situation. But this is a fantastic start to the morning. It's 10:15, and we've just got the Here We Go live on stream together. And on top of that, we had another bomber from David Ornstein this morning that Manchester United have agreed this deal, right? Antony. And this is a big one. Nothing on Malacia just yet. I'll speak about him in a bit. But this Antony deal, right? Real Betis have been posturing with United all summer long, haven't they? Trying to get him on loan, waiting until the end of the window. We can just take the piss. We can take the piss. That's all they've been trying to do. United have flipped the bird towards Betis and said, no, you're doing this on our terms. Antony leaves United, not on loan, but a €25 million permanent deal. And two things here. Carl, you're right down there saying the 50% sell-on clause is huge. Three things here, actually. A 50% sell-on clause is massive. There's no termination payment, so we're not paying the difference in the wages. I can see someone down there. Varun, you are wrong. It is not a 50% of profit. It is a 50% of any future transfer. Which caught me by surprise as well. That's coming from Charlotte Dunkert from the Times. So, if Antony is sold for 20 million in the next summer, whatever it was, United get an extra 10. So that's 50% of any future exit of Antony from Real Betis. I can't imagine that he actually gets sold for more than they signed him for. But it's actually on the wholesale. So that exit there, €25 million, is going to go up. That's a really, really good deal. Given what we've been trying to deal with this summer, that's a really good deal. Quite a lot of you down there are in the chat and you're only just tuning in. You are indeed correct. We have got the Here We Go, and I'm going to go back to this. Why do so many people... I suppose people are just tuning in to find out about the Sancho story. 1 second there. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I knew it was going to be a busy day. It's been a busy morning. Man, I'm so happy that lad is gone. You know how often we've spoken about a clear out. Would you say down here in the chat? Would you say that this feels like a clear out now? And by the way, let me check out there. A couple of you sent us a couple of super chats and some memberships as well. Tim, you sent in 5 memberships. Gungshi, you sent in 10, and Mania, you sent in 10 as well. Thank you to all of you. We've got Samir asking what happened with Costa, touted as the next big goalkeeper. I asked that yesterday. I was a bit confused as to why his stock has fallen so much. But all these movements of City getting a new goalkeeper, no one's really speaking about Diogo Costa. And you're saying, I think we signed both of them. I really, really do. I don't think we're signing both Martinez and Lammens. I really don't. And you're saying, drawing a goddamn line, big up Ineos. It does feel like a bit of a clear out to me. Like, you know how we've spoken about it so often, about clear outs happening this summer. That right there, you've got, right, let's have a look. You've got Rashford who's left on loan, but Rashford's not coming back. You've got Rashford, Antony, Sancho, Garnacho. Haaland, I don't think Haaland can be included in anything to do with the bomb squad. And I don't really think, I'll be honest, that Malacia could either. I don't put those two players in those categories. But United made a decision to say, look, Haaland, you've had your chance. I know you want to stay, but no, you've had your chance. Move on. Good luck. We signed Šeško. Someone else has come in. That's the most ruthless exit that there has been this summer. The rest are kind of like obvious ones, but we found clubs for them. The best deal out of all of them, for me, probably the Antony deal. Then I would say the Garnacho one because we got some money. Rashford, we've only gone out on loan. This is the clear out. Finally. Do we need a lot more in the window? Yep, we do need more. And I'm going to speak about signings now because I was speaking about goalkeepers when we got the Sancho bomb mid-show. What else is he saying down here? Got Johan Visser. My God. Mate, Newcastle have had their absolute pants taken down this morning. Jesus. 55 mil for Visser. Like, he's a decent player. He's a decent player. 55 mil. Am I unfair here? Am I unfair here saying 55 mil is a ridiculous price? I don't think I am. Man, Brentford have got what they wanted there. Jeez. Right, let's go up super chats. Let me read these out. What are you saying? Only Paul Malacia left, hoping a club comes in for him. I think the last that we heard was Elche getting linked with the loan move there. But no movement on that just yet. Jay, you're saying, Sam, can you please share your views on the drag-along clause? As far as I know, that drag-along clause existed. I think it was it 18 months from when the takeover? I'm just going from memory here, so I can't actually remember. I think it was 18 months after the initial 25% minority takeover happened that the Glazers had the ability to then sell the club to someone else, and that if they reached a certain value, they could force Ineos and Ratcliffe to sell. I think that was the case. But yeah, you really think they're going to find someone, again, stupid enough to pay the amount of money that they want? No. No, they're not. They're really not. I don't really think anything happens on that. I think I'm more interested to see and continue to see where and how Ineos get more of a percentage away from the Glazers. I think kind of my best guess on that would be it's to do with equity in the stadium. Hez, you're saying Ineos have done really well in the transfer market. Look, I wouldn't say they've had a perfect summer by any stretch of the imagination. Curious now, right? As it stands, if we go to the whiteboard here, what are you rating this window out of 10 now? Cunha and Bumo and Šeško, the 3 big signings that we have brought in. Diego Leon you can include if you want to, but we actually paid for him in January and he only joined in this summer because he wasn't 18 at the time. You're going to add a goalkeeper onto this. Now, I don't know which one, but you're going to add a goalkeeper into this. I'll speak about midfielders as well. What would you rate this out of 10 now, considering all those exits that have happened? I think it's been a pretty good window. All things considered, expectations going into it, I think it's been a pretty good window. Rarely are you going to get a perfect transfer window. But as far as our football club goes and the windows that we have gone and watched in these last few years, I think this is a very good window. Let me see what you're saying in the chat. We've got Navin and Kev and Mo. You're all saying 7 out of 10. You've got D, Davies. You've got Colin all saying 8 out of 10s. Rob, you're saying 8.5. Kiwi, Carl, you're being a bit awkward there with an 8.36. It's really annoying that I call you all your nicknames now. It's just I used to just see names and could just run through names. Really, really, got to get used to it. 10 out of 10 says Sasha. I wouldn't go for a 10 out of 10. Manny, you're going for a 7.5. 7 says Daniel. I'm probably, what would I give this? I think I'd probably go about 7.5. I think 7.5 would be a fair, 7.5, maybe 8. Man, we needed a midfielder though. We need a midfielder. But look, can we go back to this? This is probably going to be an in and out sort of few hours that we've got coming up. I mean, I'm so happy. I want to repeat this again. I'm so happy he's gone. If I had one player that I was desperate to leave our football club this summer, it was Jadon Sancho. It was Sancho above Rashford. It was Sancho above Garnacho. He is absolute poison. And Villa, I mean, I don't know what you're doing. And at a time where Villa, let's be totally honest, Villa just got absolutely whooped by Crystal Palace last night, and they're having a bit of a wobble. I really do feel like this season is where Villa are, they're going to struggle. So to bring Sancho into that environment, well, Marty, 7.5 out of 10. Are you joking, Sam? Do you watch our games? Hello, mate. How about you take one conversation and you link it to something completely different? At what point did I ask there about how are we playing? I asked how this transfer window is going. Don't try and take one thing and drag it elsewhere, which is how a lot of the internet goes, isn't it? Like you say you like one thing, goes, oh, hold on, that means you actually don't like this. It was like, that's not what I said. Why are you putting words in my mouth? Good old conversation. And you're saying, based on a 3-window rebuild, I'm giving this a solid 7. I think Ineos have done very well. The dressing room harmony is vital in that. Like, we're far from perfect. You've seen the start to this season. It does really feel like United have actually prioritised a bit of... They definitely have prioritised the dressing room. Because we did make it harder for ourselves with Garnacho and Rashford and Sancho all being the bottom squad and being sat differently at Carrington and isolated away from the team. It probably did take a bit of leverage away from ourselves. Hence why we've had to let Sancho... By the way, anyone get calculators out down here? Let's see on here if David Ornstein says anything about how much of Sancho's wages Villa are going to pay. Ideally 100%. Let's find out. Villa are on the verge of agreeing a loan deal for Sancho. An agreement club to club and with the player is close to only final details. Entering the final year. Exploring a deal. Villa have been restricted. Nothing there. Is anybody seeing that anywhere? Let me have a check. I can't see anything that mentions how much as a percentage of his wages are being covered. But let's go best case scenario. Probably isn't the case. That's 250 from Sancho off the bill. 300 from Rashford. It's already 550. It's amazing. It's mad. 550. Then you've got, if we go back to the dumb board, we can probably run through this. Garnacho. I don't know how much Garnacho was actually on. Was he on somewhere between 50 to 100? You're saying that Romano said part of his salary. I'm just going total numbers here, and then we can probably figure out a percentage. But 250 for Sancho, 300 for Rashford. I don't know how much Garnacho was. I'm going to go for like 75. So what's that? 550 plus 75, 625. Højlund, I think, was... think it was on a little bit more than 100, but call it that. That's 725. We're going to spit. I know these numbers aren't going to be perfect, people, but just going ballpark figure, and I'm at 700 grand a week right now when you include Sancho, Rashford, Højlund, and Garnacho. Antony, I think he was on north of 100. All intents and purposes, call it 100, but I think, again, that's a low ball. That's 800,000. Like, all things considered, when you look at all of this, you're looking at easily at the best part of £1 million a week on wages. When you look at all the players who have left. Best part of it, certainly north of 3/4 of it, somewhere between 750 grand to £1 million a week saved on wages, which would be more than enough to pay for Cunha and Mbumo and Šeško and the goalkeeper and some more. Somewhere between 750 and 200. I know lots of you are coming in with different figures and numbers like that, but we can't ever... Eriksen as well. Forgot about that. Jeez, look, Lindelof and Eriksen as well. It's easily north of £1 million. Easily north of £1 million that United have taken off our wage bill this summer. £1 million a week, by the way. That's a lot. Is our squad perfect? No. But that is a lot of money. It looks like Lindelof's going Villa as well. I saw that. What's going on there? Simon Stone, Jadon Sancho to Villa will happen. Contract with United due to expire in the summer, but could be extended by an additional year. A bit of a head scratch there, if I'm being completely honest. Right, you've had one opportunity. Now you can have a timeout. Dearie me. Some people just don't know. Naughty boy. Go on the naughty step. Bomb squad gone, someone says down there. Well, that is the biggest bomb of said squad. Right. There's still so much more to cover in this show. By my word. I'm going to try it. Where was I? I was talking about this, right? This is from Laurie Whitwell this morning. We'll speak about going back to goalkeepers now. Someone else sent a super chat there. Let me read this out. Manthan saying, what about Garnacho's sell-on clause? Is it 10% of profit to Chelsea or future sell value? I don't know on that one, Manthan, but as far as I know, as far as I've seen, it's 10% of future rather than an overall 10% of sale. Again, I think the Garnacho one could have been better. But United have agreed terms with Lammens. We know that, and we've known that for a while. And it's, as I said, if Fabrizio Romano is correct, and any deal for Martinez depended on Sancho being included with the talks, then it means that Emi Martinez is going to be our new goalkeeper. And it means the decision's kind of already done. Now, do I think that Emi Martinez is a bad goalkeeper? No, I don't. Do I think he's an upgrade on Onana? I think in some respects, I think he is an upgrade on Onana. Would I have utter confidence in him? I suppose I wouldn't have utter confidence in any goalkeeper. And you don't really have utter confidence in any goalkeeper until they come into your club and they prove themselves, right? But it really does sound like it's going to be Martinez. Now, someone down there saying it's separate, everything's separate. You've got, if you go back to David Ornstein here, he's saying down there that, look, where was it? The Athletic reported on Sunday night that Villa were exploring a deal for Sancho separate to the Old Trafford club's interest in Emi Martinez. And I hope it is separate. I don't really think that they should be locked into each other. Waybrook saying, what do you mean better than Onana? Well, there you go. I think it's bloody obvious. He is better than Onana. What else are you saying down here? Update on Cunha injury. There is no update on that just for now. Well, I haven't seen anything anyway. Interesting to know what wages Martinez gets. If I'm correct, from what I've read, I think Martinez and Sancho are on similar wages. I very much doubt he gets that when he comes to Manchester United. But I also very much think that he would take a wage cut to come to Manchester United. He's going to have to fit in that sense. Guy, man, how you doing? Good morning. You're saying feels nice to wake up to news that the turb might get flushed once and for all. It has been a good start to today. The bomb squad, it feels, finally is shifted. And fingers crossed we get... Look, I'll be totally honest. I don't want United to be anywhere near done in terms of exits today. I really, really hope that we get some... If we get any news on an exit for Bayinde or Onana, I wouldn't say it will be a bit of a surprise, but as it stands, there's not really been much movement. No one's been linked with a move for Onana all summer long. I think Bayinde got tentatively linked to a couple of Turkish clubs, but it never really went further than that. But I know that you do this on paper, it's great. Oh, yeah, well, obviously it's easy. United just move Onana and Bayinde on and then bring in Martinez and Lammens. And be honest, that's what I would like to happen because I'm looking at a new number 1 and a new number 2 there. Remember that Lammens he's only had one full season at Antwerp. And we've got the profile ready on him and we may not even bloody use it. It is what it is. Maybe I'll release that to members only. Although there's not really much point in you looking at a goalkeeper video and a profile of a player that we've not signed. Don't know. Manny, you're saying on Martinez, it doesn't matter what confidence we have, Sam, but De Ligt, Yora and Shaw's confidence will be up and that counts. I think it's a really good comment there. And you can't underestimate that. You're like, I think I've said this before in one of my match reactions. Like, me as a fan, I don't have faith in what my goalkeeper's doing behind me. But imagine you're, as you say, Yoro or De Ligt or Shaw, and you're thinking, you can't pass it backwards. You have to permanently... As a defender, you should be able to never look behind you and just have total confidence that everything is being done as it should. And I don't think any United defender can do that with Onana between the sticks or Bayinde. Space Odie saying, our gaffer's on the verge of resigning, not retiring, meaning we cannot get a player who is not experienced. Although one for the future, Lammens is too risky. And look, there might be some truth in that. There is no truth in the fact that Amrim's close to resigning. He's an emotional bloke, and maybe that is something that he's going to have to control a little bit, simply for the fact that the media uses it against him. Or the media can just, send Nick Miller from The Athletic to literally watch Ruben Amrim the entire game against Burnley. Imagine that. I can't wait. I'm covering United today. I did all my years as a training for a journalist. I'm going to do it. I can't wait to watch the game. Nick, about that. See what I mean? You're going to the game, but you're not actually allowed to watch the game. What do you mean? Well, you just got to stand on the sideline and just watch the manager. What do you mean, just for a little bit? No, for the full 90 minutes, do not look at the ball. If I'm going to a football game, no, do not look at the ball. Just watch the manager and see where he looks. Odd. All right, I'll do it. Anyway, that's still one of the weirdest articles I've ever seen. Analysis from Turkey. Galatasaray will go for Lammens. If they can't get him, they want Onana. Hey, look, in an ideal world, right, we'll speak about that next, but in an ideal world, we get a cracking bit of news about one or both of these leaving. And by the sounds of it, Martinez is the most likely as it stands. Spurs are making contact over Kolo Muani. They got beaten pretty damn comprehensively by Bournemouth at the weekend. Can I ask you all down here in the chat, what's your... Let's pull a photo up. What's your take on Martinez? I know we spoke about him yesterday, and 57% of you said that you would prefer a move for him. And my guess is the reason that was 57% is because of the fact that he's Premier League proven. Now, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but if you're one of the 57% that was saying you would choose Martinez, why is that? Is it the fact that he's Prem proven? Is it the fact that he's older and he's more experienced? I don't know. Is it the fact he's won the World Cup? I don't know what it is. But I'm just opening the floor. Someone's saying, is Martinez alone? We've got no details on that just yet. Maybe. I don't know, though. Stevie's saying Amrin's very clever, taking the pressure off the players. All the chat is about him, not the crap we see. That was one of Fergie's best attributes. But as it stands, that's not quite the same. Amrim is just... He's kind of wearing his heart on his sleeve. Like him sitting there with his feet up in the dugout, just Even though we got a last-minute penalty, he's just sitting there going like, why have you got to make this so hard? Why have you got to make this so difficult? It's kind of the same reaction that I had. Now, let me see what you're saying down here about Martinez. Experience, says Jackie. Rev, you're saying you like him. But he's good on penalties. That's about it. Watch all the reels of flop. I think you can probably, if you really wanted to, right? If you really wanted to, I think you could get a highlights reel of every goalkeeper making mistakes that lead directly to goals, if you wanted to. Steve, you're saying physical, Premier League proven experience. We cannot take a risk on a younger goalkeeper. Proven winner, says Chris. Nicky, you're saying experienced and Premier League proven. So the majority of you all saying that. And you're saying down there, which I think also is part of it, 60% personality and 40% keeping ability. I think he's definitely... Oh, mate, is that actually true? My word. It's not actually to do with Manchester United, but... How have they managed to do that? You can have your opinions on Erik ten Hag, but is that like the shortest managerial stint in history? Dude got 2 games. God. Man, that's some bad succession planning from Bayer Leverkusen. Xabi Alonso, they chose an Erik ten Hag and then they sack him after 2 games. Deep. Man, taking me back now. Erik ten Hag. Nah, don't want to think about it anymore. No, thank you. That's bad. That's mad. That's got to be like breaking records in terms of how quickly a manager is sacked. So that's what? Mourinho, Solskjaer, and Ten Hag, who have all been sacked in the last week? I think so. Right, let me go back to speaking about Emi Martinez. That was just a bit of breaking news that's coming. We are getting all the breaking news here. All the breaking news in this show. JXC, you're saying, love Emi. Great goalkeeper. Sell Onana and buy in there on eBay for 99p. Great content, Sam. Huge fan. Bin Malacia as well. Awful player. I personally think being harsh on Malacia there. Let's be totally honest. Well, that's your opinion, I suppose. I think he was okay, and then prior to his injuries, he seemed like a decent backup for sure. Then he just got annihilated by the injuries. Now, Ben, going back to speaking about Emi Martinez, you're saying, I think for us, Emi can take the pressure and the media. I would probably say, if I was to say my biggest plus point of Martinez, it would be around the personality. Like, he is a proper, complete, and utter shithouse. There's no other way to describe him. If he's not, he's one of those players that if he's not in your team, you're thinking, like, well, what an absolute dick. Like, what a complete, what an arse, sod that. As soon as he is your player, you love him for it. He will take heat and he will take stick, but will he be able to deliver? Of course, that's going to be the question, but the same question would exist about Sancho. I couldn't look at this goalkeeper and go, oh, perfect goalkeeper. No risks here at all. The risks with signing a goalkeeper who is 23, has only had 1 full season of senior football with Royal Antwerp, is obvious. There's a lot of questions about Lammens that you wouldn't get with Martinez, and the potential upside of they've spotted the talent that can actually deliver, there's a lot of hypotheticals with him, but the ceiling is potentially higher with Lammens than it is for Emi Martinez. Does Martinez come with a little bit less risk? I'd say from the adaptation period, yeah, of course he does. But anyway, we need to see what happens here. Either way, I think it's going to get done early today. Going to get done early. There's a couple more super chats, and then I'll go back and we'll read some more comments out. I told you it was going to be a busy show. Didn't quite think it was going to be as busy as this. But it is. Manny, you're saying Martinez, big game player. The difference between a close loss or a close win against top 4 rivals. Sahud, you're saying Martinez isn't significantly better than Onana, given how bad our defense is. It's actually Jibak, my bad. He will struggle, maybe not as bad as Onana, but he isn't great. Also, given his personality, he'll fall out with Ruben. I don't think that he'll fall out with Ruben over his personality. Otherwise, Manchester United wouldn't be looking at signing him. I don't think United will be looking at signing any player that's going to completely clash with the manager that they don't think he can coach. So I disagree with that one. Troy Boy, you're saying, have you seen that on FB Ref, United ranked first for expected goals in the Prem? Yeah, I ran through that in my coverage of the game yesterday, the sort of what we learned. United, and this makes me sick, United's conversion rate is like 6.9%. And prior to that game yesterday between Arsenal and Liverpool, Liverpool's conversion rate was nearly 30%. And Arsenal's was like 24, 23, 22%. Thereabouts. And ours was like 6. Same issue as last season with different players. Still, the players just can't find the back of the net enough. And even far better players. Space Oda, you're saying a keeper who has the experience of being phenomenal World Cup final versus a keeper who has played against big clubs probably 3 or 4 times. It all goes down to really what you, I suppose, prioritize, what you consider the most important aspect. And for most of you, as I've seen in the chat, it's the experience. It's the fact that he's Premier League proven. And that is a strategy that United did when we signed, you know who we signed, Cunha, we signed Mbumo. With Šeško, that was because I think we've got Chris Vavell. So it wasn't a case of just plucking some youngster like Højlund, looking at the data and going, oh, okay, well, that might work. No, Chris Vavell knew Højlund personally since he was a teenager and has followed it and been quite close to his career the whole way through. So in terms of like character assessment and reference, we got a lot more from Chris Vavell than we ever would through data. So that's why we went for him. And maybe Martinez is going to be the Premier League proven goalkeeper that we sign. Meaning that if we do sign him, that's 3 out of our 4 big signings this summer we're plucking from the Premier League. I'm not going to be upset if we sign Martinez. I'm not going to be upset if we sign Lammens. I'd be upset if by the end of this window, it was only these 2 goalkeepers who we had. That's the only thing that would annoy me. A new goalkeeper is a necessity, and which one, I don't quite know yet. As it stands, if I was to put a prediction on it, I think we're going to be signing Emi Martinez, which means that profile that we made is completely useless. 2nd or 3rd time that's happened this summer. The risk you take. Fred, thank you very much for gifting 5 memberships, dude. And Chris, you're saying Martinez is a leader from the back, and boy, do we need one. Watch how his presence alone lifts the backline's confidence. Yeah, that I would agree with. But yeah, as I said, you can pull up the... I'm still shook about that Ten Hag story. My word. That is some horrendous succession planning there. Right. I really, really wish that I could bring you a cheeky bit of like surprise midfielder news. Like, oh, United are going to be making actually a move for Baleba, who, by the way, anybody been watching Brighton's games? Baleba definitely looks like his, does it look like his mind is elsewhere? He doesn't look like that player. He's been nowhere near the level of quality that sort of you grow to expect of him at Brighton. Good game from Brighton, though. Made some changes. Femi Hurtzler, second half, 2-1. But I wish I could bring you some news on Wharton. Is Wharton injured? I didn't know that. Or Hjulmand. I don't know. Do I wish I could bring you news on Hjulmand? Probably not, if I'm being completely honest. Wharton was actually on my dream list at the start of the summer. I haven't seen anything. I've seen reports linking us with a move to, what was it, Angelo Stiller. I think that was last night. I haven't seen anything reliable in that sense, right? Yeah, and that's exactly how I see it. United really did their job properly in terms of turning Baleba's head. I think he really, really wanted that move. But Brighton didn't give it to him. Simply because they priced him out of it. And he looks like a player whose mind is elsewhere. I'm sure that once the transfer window closes, and if he does indeed stay and remain as a Brighton player, which I do expect, then his form will improve. But he definitely looks like his head's gone. As it stands, not really seeing anything with us being linked with a midfielder. And that's going to be a bit of an issue. We know that, right? We've known that all summer long. But what's going on down there? Right. if we do get a midfield signing, it's going to be a surprise and a pleasant one. That's what I would say. What else we got down here? We speak about Cobby. Now, that was a grim extra live. I was live at like bloody 11:30 the other night because David Ornstein came out and said that he had requested to leave Manchester United on loan. What's happened since then? Man United have refused. Cobby came on in the second half against Burnley and played 45 minutes, and then Cunha got injured, and I think Mount got... Did anybody hear anything about Mount's injury? A few of you are saying down there, we're talking about... I'll go back to speaking about Cobby in a sec, but a few of you are saying down here that we're looking around about 80% of the wages covered, which would be 200 grand. 80% of 250 would be 200 grand, right? I think. A lot of money off the wage bill. And you're talking about Edison and Atalanta. I haven't seen anything new about that for a while. But Kobbie Mainoo, I think, Jadon, I think that's probably what I would call it. I didn't really see Mount getting a bad injury or pulling up with a hamstring or anything like that. Maybe it was just a precaution more than anything. Because we know that Mount's fitness is his biggest foe, really. Fingers crossed, because Mount's been playing good. But we're hearing this from the BBC. Saying numerous sources are now saying that Cobby move. Jeez, read it again, Sam. I think it's just written wrong. Numerous sources are now saying that Cobby Mainoo loan away from United is unlikely today. Doesn't mean it definitely won't happen, as loads of clubs are interested, but United and Ruben Amorim want him to stay. I don't think Cobby goes anywhere. I think Cobby Mainoo had every right to be frustrated at the lack of opportunities. And that's about it. He got an opportunity against Burnley. I hope that wasn't just a case of, I'll play him at halftime there before the deadline, so he just stays and then just push him back into the shadows. Mainoo deserves the opportunities. And I think he should get more of them. When Bruno's playing, to be fair, Bruno was excellent against Burnley. And that's why Amorim, it doesn't really matter how Bruno's playing, will always he would always bet on Bruno to be the one, even in a game where he's playing awful, to make the difference. Just to make the difference. Anyway, I'm happy about that, and that's good news. I can see lots of you speaking about it down here, and I'll quickly go back to it. That's a madness, isn't it? That's got to be the shortest managerial stint. 2 games into a season? Didn't they just win at the weekend as well? Don't actually remember. A couple of you asking about Harry and Mass. There's a couple more things I can speak about here. Now, I'm not sure this is the best one. I'll be totally honest. I'm not sure this is the best sort of transfer? Best loan for Harry and Mass. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's kind of all it's a bit chaotic at Sheffield Wednesday right now. I don't actually know what's going on with the ownership situation. I don't even know where they are in the league. But from everything that I've read about Sheffield Wednesday going into the season, I'm not sure that would have been the best loan move for him, but that's the loan move that's been decided. Apparently they lost both games 2-1. I don't know. There you go then. Never mind. And you're saying, I'm telling you that Ten Hag asked for Sancho, so they sacked him. Anyway, I'm not sure about, as I said, I'm not sure about Sheffield Wednesday being the best place for Harry Mass to develop and go on loan, but at least he's in the Championship, and that's a good thing. And this one's quite an interesting one. This is Zach Bauman, and he's actually joined Norwich on a permanent deal, and United haven't asked for a fee. So effectively what's happening here is we've sent him there, he's going on a permanent deal, and United are going to get the sell-on performance-related clauses. So let's say Norwich get promoted. That'll be worth X amount of money to United. Let's say they get into the playoffs. That'll be worth X amount of money. He makes X amount of appearances. Stuff like that. Performance-related bonuses. And United will get some money from that, which takes us back to the board here. And you can see all the names there. United have been busy this summer. United have been particularly busy in these last 3 days. We've agreed Garnacho, Haaland, and now Sancho. I think so. You know full well about the money in and the money out. That doesn't mean that that's exactly what's come into Manchester United's bank account this summer. It's just the overall prices. It's not broken down into how much is paid this summer and how much is paid next summer, because it would just simply be way too complicated for me to be able to get this across in the short amount of time I have in a live show. So this is just like the overall situation. If we go to the active board, it's as I said, look, Baleba, Hjulmand, Wharton, Stiller, they're the midfielders who we've been linked with. You could put Edison on there if you wanted to. You could put Javi Guerra, but he's signed a new deal at Valencia. Surprise, surprise. But Lammens and Martinez, that is where United's efforts are going to be focused on. I don't know I wouldn't put money on which one we'd actually sign, but I guarantee you, I'll be back here at some point today with a here we go on a signing of one of these two. Radek Vitek, he's gone out on loan as well. Is he on the board? Yeah, Vitek's over there. You can see him at Bristol City towards the top right. Whew. It's been busy. I knew it was going to be busy, but that's a heck of a start to the day. Can I quickly remind you of the plans for today on United People's TV? Typically, I do the morning video and the lunchtime. It's going to be different here because it's deadline day, and it's a busy one. If it wasn't a busy one, I'd just stick to what we normally do. We've got the live show there that we've done now. I'm going to be live at 1 p.m. for another live show. Bring you any little updates that happen. That might only be a half an hour show. We don't quite know. And then I'll probably go live again at 6 p.m. and we'll have an hour show that will last through until the end of the window, and then we can rate the window when the window closes. So 3 times we're going to be live today. It's going to be a busy one. Please do subscribe if you're new to the channel, because it's going to be a busy day, and I'm going to try and cover everything as accurately as I possibly can. What's being said down here, we've just got Newcastle reaching 55 mil. Man, that is a mad price for him. Oh, there you go, look. No, I'm not going to pull that up, actually. Never mind. Whew. I'm going to wrap that show up. Get involved later. I hope we sign 2 goalkeepers and a midfielder. It's not going to happen. But I'm not sure which one we're going to sign. Take it easy, everyone. See you soon.